And welcome everybody. You are watching Hardhats TV, and we have a gorgeous day for baseball on a Sunday afternoon here in Rapid City, South Dakota. My name is Mike Fell, filling in for the voice of Hardhats TV in 2024, Oliver Fell. Happy to have you along with us as we get set to bring you the excitement of the Hardhats and the Troopers. This represents the third and decisive rubber match in the three-game set to open the season here in 2022. The Hardhats and the Troopers last night split a doubleheader. Games that you heard right here with Cody Oliver filling in for yours truly last night, doing a great job. The Hardhats lost 6-5 in the opening game, and then decisively were able to get a win in the second game as Lee Negebauer did a super job on the mound in starting as an ace for the Hardhats. Looking at today's game, River Walters will take the ball and get things started in game 3 of this series. It's always great to win that first series of the year, sets a tone for what will be a long and exciting season, and we're happy to have you along with us. What a difference a day makes. Last night, temperatures were well into the 30s, even dipped under freezing before the sun came up, but now here we are, and we have ourselves a gorgeous spring-like afternoon, temperatures in the 60s, as we are just about 15 minutes away from first pitch here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Again, my name is Mike Fell. I'll be filling in for Oliver not only today, but I'll be taking the trip next weekend to Cheyenne, to the capital city of the Cowboy State, as the national defending runners-up, the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers, will host our Post 22 Hardhats in what is always a great series. And then we'll have a May Day special for you, a doubleheader in Gillette coming up on May 1st. And then the first weekend of May, the Hardhats will travel to the tournament at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana, and we'll have those games for you, all 4 of those games for you, coming up the first weekend of May. And then Oliver will take the microphone. He'll be back from the desert. He's wrapping up his junior year at Arizona State University, and I know Oliver is very excited to be back with the guys, back with Coach Torvey and the coaches and everybody and all of you fans for what will be a very fun and exciting late spring and summer of Hardhats baseball. Well, let's go ahead and kind of set the scene for you. If you look out right ahead of our camera vantage point here, you can see Coach Torvey. He has his red sweatshirt, and he is ready to go. And Coach Torvey, if you haven't heard the news, big congratulations and shout out to head coach Kelvin Torvey. He received the call. And I don't mean the call to the priesthood. I mean he got the call at Shields a couple of days ago saying, welcome to the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame. And what a big moment that was, a humbling moment for a very modest and true Christian gentleman in Kelvin Torvey. Kelvin, very appreciative of the honor. He said that as he had his Major League Baseball career and his collegiate days, and they had some time outside the state, that South Dakota was always the state he considered his home, and it means a great deal for him to earn such a deserving honor as a South Dakota Sports Hall of Famer. Kelvin Torvey will be enshrined into the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame later on this year, and that's going to be absolutely tremendous. And let's now also just talk about the crowd we have. We have a good crowd on hand, and isn't it great that you can leave church and come out to the ballpark? It's a very special Sunday when you can do that. And here we are, April 21st, great weather. The entire week, by the way, is supposed to see weather in Rapid City well above 60 degrees, so we should have some great weather. We may, knock on wood, have that really cold stuff behind us for the rest of the year. You got to count on a couple of times dipping below 50. It's Rapid City after all, and it's still springtime, but it looks as though we're going to have some nice weather going forward where we are just going to play baseball and you don't have to think about how many layers you have to bring with you to the ballpark. Well, the Hardhats are wearing their powder blues. Boy, you talk about a special look. It takes me back to my childhood growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, when I used to watch the Kansas City Royals. They would wear powder blues on Sunday afternoon games at Old Royals Stadium, now Kauffman Stadium. And it was always neat to see George Brett playing third base, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, playing third base with number 5 on his jersey. And he had those powder blue along with all of his teammates, and just have great memories of powder blue Sundays uh, in the old American League with the Kansas City Royals back in the day. It's neat to see that Sunday powder blue tradition here in Rapid City with our post 22 hard hats. Let's go ahead and before we get to the starting lineup for the hard hats. Let's take you around Major League Baseball, give you a few scores as the hard hats and the Sheridan Troopers warm up for their rubber match in Game 3 of this 3-game set. Some game scores to pass along. A very busy day in the majors. In fact, there is a doubleheader that is happening between the Seattle Mariners and the Colorado Rockies as well, and that's a day-night doubleheader. Kind of rare to see the day-night doubleheader, but that's what we're going to be looking at as we go along here. Want to apologize. We've got a great connection. That's the good news, but we do have a little bit of what's called a lagging video effect, and we hopefully, this is probably a bandwidth issue. The ballpark's Wi-Fi system is down, so we've made some modifications, and this is really the best we can do with regards to the video stream, unfortunately, until the Wi-Fi is repaired at the old ballpark. Let's go ahead and take a look at some scores as we move along here. The Minnesota Twins are trailing the Detroit Tigers 4-0. That game at Target Field in the bottom of the 4th inning in Minneapolis. The Florida Marlins, check that. The Miami Marlins are leading the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. Cubs off to a good start this year. Marlins, they started 0-9. They're still trying to dig out of a very big early hole, but they are winning right now 4-1 in Chicago on the north side. The Red Sox are ahead of the Pirates 4-1. That game in Pittsburgh is in the bottom of the 5th inning. Juan Soto and the New York Yankees lead the Tampa Bay Rays 5-1 in the top of the 6th inning. The Philadelphia Phillies are on top of the Chicago White Sox 6-2. That game is in the top of the 6th inning as well. The Nationals all over the Houston Astros. Is this the year that the Astros just have everything fall apart? It might be. Washington blowing out Houston 6-0 in the nation's capital. That game is hitting the 7th inning stretch right now. The Baltimore Orioles lead the upstart Kansas City Royals 2-0. That game being played in Kansas City with the Royals wearing their powder blues today. And in the top of the 5th inning, it's the Brewers and the Cardinals, no score in St. Louis. Looks like we just got our starting lineup for the Sheridan Troopers. Yep, thank you. And we're going to go ahead and get the lineup checked in here, and then when I come back to the microphone, we'll have the starting lineups and get you ready for first pitch. First pitch Probably going to take place right around 1:30. And again, we apologize for a little bit of a delay on the streaming video. It's just the best that we can do, as we simply have the Wi-Fi is down at the ballpark. Until the Wi-Fi is back up, this is kind of the hand we're dealt here. So we will go ahead and take a small pause, small break. You'll stay right here with us. I'm going to write the lineups down for the Sheridan Troopers. Game 3 of the series coming up in a matter of minutes. You're watching Hardhats TV. You're watching Hardhats TV. We're getting the lineups set, and in a matter of moments, I'll have the starting lineups for both teams coming your way here on Hardhats TV. And welcome back, everybody. Again, we apologize for the lagging video issue. We have the ballpark Wi-Fi currently out of circulation. Hopefully we'll get it back soon, but we are in a position where we have made some adjustments, some modifications, and we're just working with our remote system here, and that's the best that we can do, but we are bringing you the action. We also do not have the home plate camera operating. We're just not the most technically advanced crew here until we get Oliver Fell back from college, but we have the infield covered, as you can tell on your screen, and we have a good view of left field, the Hardhats dugout, as well as uh, good part of center field. When the ball goes into right field, we'll be telling you what's happening, and We'll do the very best we can here on Hardhats TV, as we always do. Let's go ahead and get to the starting lineups. First, for the visitors from Sheridan, Wyoming, a beautiful community right at the foothills of the Bighorn Mountains on Interstate 90. Let's go ahead and give you the starting lineup for Sheridan. Again, the Troopers won game one of the doubleheader last night, dropped the nightcap game, the late nightcap game, to the Hardhats and come in with a mark of 1-1. Leading off for the Sheridan Troopers, it's Tyler Hutton, the center fielder. Batting second, it's Cale Hamrick, the shortstop. Hitting third for the Troopers, it's right fielder Avon Barney. Batting fourth, it's Tyler Reason, the third baseman. Hitting fifth, the starting pitcher in this afternoon's ball game, Will Greer. Hitting sixth for Sheridan, left fielder Riley Green. Batting seventh, the backstop, Blaine Phillips. The number 8 hitter in the lineup is Ethan Evans, the first baseman. And batting in the 9 hole, it's second baseman Tanner Hamrick. So for the Troopers, again, their lineup, if you're scoring at home, reads this way: Hutton, Cale Hamrick, Barney, Reason, Greer, and Green, Phillips, Evans, and Tanner Hamrick. Now let's look at the starting lineup for your post-22 Hardhats. Hardhats leading off will feature third baseman Aiden Roberts, batting second, second baseman Wyatt Reeder, and hitting third, the right fielder Tate Crossway. Batting fourth, hitting cleanup, first baseman Alex Dietrich. Batting fifth, the designated hitter Hayden Hollick. Hitting sixth, playing left today, it's Aaron Roach. Batting seventh, the catcher Philip Bentz. Hitting eighth, the center fielder Carter Johnson, who has some really good speed out there. And the shortstop, batting ninth, Wilson Kiefer. For the Hardhats, again, if you're scoring at home, it's Roberts, Reeder, Crossway, Dietrich, Hollick, Roach, Bentz, Johnson, and Kiefer. And that's a look at the starting lineup for the post-22 Hardhats, trying to get out to a 2-1 start to start the year. Last year, if you recall, the Hardhats won their first 3 games against the Fargo Stars from Fargo, North Dakota to begin the year. This year, a little bit more of a test. You can feel the intensity coming from all the fans who have made the trip from north central Wyoming to be here. Good contingent of fans for Sheridan. Sheridan, a team that has been known to challenge Cheyenne Post 6 for Wyoming supremacy in Legion baseball. South Dakota and Wyoming, the only 2 states in America that do not have sanctioned baseball and are essentially Legion states in a very big way. In case you missed it earlier in the week, some developing news of sorts involving amateur baseball in the state of South Dakota. There were a pair of schools in East River that filed for sanctioning of baseball as a sanctioned sport, and the South Dakota High School Activities Association shared that they will go through an investigative process. They will consult with the South Dakota American Legion, and they will explore all aspects of what it means to sanction the sport. Obviously, there are concerns about what that would mean as far as if they did sanction the sport, what would their schedule be like? Would there be an overlap? How would that affect overall participation for not only high school student athletes, but how would that impact the viability and competitiveness and scheduling of Legion baseball? So a lot of moving parts and pieces, but it did come up before the Activities Association for a 1-year process, an exploratory process, as news reports shared throughout the week. And we'll see what this means. And again, I think that there are right now a whole bunch of questions to be answered and explored, and then you just you pray that the folks who make the decision will take that information at heart and make the best decisions for all parties involved. But it was during that news report that I learned that only South Dakota and Wyoming, in fact, have uh, baseball in high school in an unsanctioned position, and I thought that was an interesting piece of information that I just up until that point was unaware of. You're watching the Hardhats TV broadcast. The Hardhats and their Powder Home Blues playing their first Sunday afternoon game of the year. My name is Mike Fell, filling in for my son Oliver Fell, who will join you on the 7th of May, and we'll keep bringing you all the games all season long. He had a blast being the voice of Hardhats TV, and he just works so hard. I'm so proud of my son. He just works so hard, not only in preparing for these Hardhat TV broadcasts, but also in all the social media postings that he does. And it's a different media landscape than it was when I was Oliver's age, and it's just neat to see the opportunities and to see Oliver run with those opportunities to promote the Hardhats program and to bring all the exciting action to all of you fans, whether it's from the Gopher Classic in Minnesota or the College World Series Creighton tournament in Omaha, or it's one of the tournaments right here, like the Firecracker that was won by Harrison Goods home run last year in the bottom of the 7th inning on the coldest 4th of July in Rapid City history. And, there's just a lot of great memories. And this year, the Hardhats are going to take a trip south all the way to Pueblo, to the Pueblo Azteca tournament. And boy, is that going to be a lot of fun. The Hardhats going all the way down to Pueblo. Did you know Pueblo was once the second largest city in Colorado? It's true. And did you also know that many Brooklyn Dodgers, legendary Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers like Pete Lee Reese and Duke Snider and uh, just Roy Campanella, a lot of those Brooklyn Dodgers, of course, not Jackie Robinson in this case because he was already in the bigs by the early 50s, but when he broke the color barrier in the major leagues. But the Dodgers farm system used to put their top prospects in Pueblo, Colorado. So there you go. And a lot of legends played baseball in Pueblo, and your Hardhats will play baseball in Pueblo in a couple of months at the Pueblo Azteca tournament. Well, they're playing some music over the intercom right now. We're just moments away from player introductions as the Troopers are playing a little bit of pepper down the right field line, and we're just minutes away from a game that will start about 45 minutes after its original scheduled time, but who's counting anyway? It's Sunday, it's beautiful, it's bright, sunshine everywhere, hardly a cloud in sight. In fact, really the only evidence of clouds are just those really light alto cirrus clouds that don't even look like clouds. They just kind of look like little puffs, little lines. Well, here we go. Let's go ahead and again set the starting lineups for you for the Hardhats. It'll be Aiden Roberts leading off. Wyatt Reeder, he will bat second, play second base. Third base will be right field will be played by Tate Crossway. He's going to hit third. Alex Dietrich's going to hit cleanup. Hayden Hollick will bat fifth. Aaron Roach will hit sixth. Philip Bentz will bat seventh. Carter Johnson will be the center fielder, and Wilson Kiefer will be the shortstop. I want to again apologize for a lagging video issue. We are informed that the Wi-Fi is down here at Fitzgerald Stadium. I'm sure that'll be worked on in the near future, and we're working with kind of a remote setup here and doing the best we can with it. And I just checked the feed, and I know you're able to hear me and see things, but again, we don't have the most fluid audio that meets Hardhats TV standards, but it literally is the best we're able to do as we are working through this Wi-Fi situation with the Wi-Fi being down at the old ballpark. So glad you have you with us this afternoon. Looks like the game of Pepper is all wrapped up here for Sheridan, and we're going to have the starting lineups on a beautiful day for baseball coming your way at any time now. Updating some Major League Baseball scores. Orioles now leading the Royals 3-0. Baltimore going for a sweep at Camden Yards. Phillies all over the hapless White Sox 7-2. The Chicago White Sox, wow, 3-17. Not a good start on the south side of Chicago. Reds lead the Angels 3-0. That's in the bottom of the seventh and at the Great American Ballpark, also known as the Great American Bandbox because it's such a hitter's venue. Guardians lead the A's 3-2. It's hard to even know what city the A's belong to. Do they belong to Vegas? Do they belong to Sacramento? Do they belong to Oakland? Or do they just belong in the hearts of A's fans all over the place? I'm not sure. Red Sox lead the Pirates 5-1. Twins still trailing 4-0 in the bottom of the fifth inning to the 11-10 Detroit Tigers. Tough start for the Twins. Hard to pin the slow start for the 7-12 Twins on two veterans, but Manny Margot and Carlos Santana, those two veterans really struggling out of the gate. I think I heard they were 3 for 47 to start the year. And those are players that the Twins were counting on for Rocco Baldelli in Minneapolis. Let's go ahead now, and we're just getting closer and closer to the start of this game. Not sure what we're waiting on, but the Expos were able to defeat the Sheridan junior varsity, I guess you might say, your second team, 11-6 in a game that was played before this one. So congrats to the Expos. Ryan Negebauer had a good game, and looked like the Expos were in command all the way, but Sheridan did mount a comeback, made it a 6-5 game, and then the Hardhats distanced themselves and slammed the door in the 6th and 7th inning and pulled out a win. So congrats to the Expos. They win earlier today over Sheridan, 11-5. Hardhats and the Troopers ready to play a decisive game 3 of this 3-game series. And should be a very exciting game as River Walters gets the start for the Hardhats, and Will Greer will be pitching for the Sheridan Troopers. These two teams, they met in Omaha last year. They did not play each other in a series, but they met in Omaha, and the Hardhats were victorious. Of course, that was a great trip for the Hardhats. They went 4-2 on that road trip and knocked off the eventual champion Millard South team. And what a great trip that was. The Hardhats got a win over Sheridan 4-0. And then last night, of course, in games you saw right here on Hardhats TV, the Hardhats and the Troopers split a doubleheader. It was all Hardhats in game two. It was a very tightly contested game that was a 5-5 tie ball game going into the seventh, and the Troopers were able to pull out a 6-5 win and win the season opener for both ball clubs. Isn't it great to have baseball back? It's back. It's here. And it's not going away anytime soon. We are so glad to have America's pastime back in full force and effect. Again, big shout out to Kelvin Torvey, skipper for the Hardhats, on his honor getting inducted into the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame. Coach Torvey, with his All-American career at Oral Roberts University down in Tulsa, in his college days, his outstanding career as a Hardhat, playing for Dave Plouffe back in the day, and then Coach Torvey playing professional baseball, not only in Japan, but making it to the big leagues with the Minnesota Twins and the New York Mets. And just his impact and what he represents, all the things that are right with the game of baseball, and what a great program we have here at Post 22. And again, congratulations to Coach Kelvin Torvey. He will be inducted this year into the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame. My name is Mike Feld, with you throughout this afternoon. Again, we apologize for some lagging video. This has to do with the Wi-Fi being down at the ballpark. We're working with kind of a patchwork system, and wish we weren't using a patchwork system, but you have to do what you have to do with what you have available. And when the ballpark Wi-Fi is down, this is where we're at. So we are glad to be with you on a Sunday afternoon. We're getting ready to go. We just continue to play music and take in the weather, and I'm not sure why it's taking so long. I could tell that both teams are just ready to play, but we're hearing some Spencer Davis Gang music, I think, or maybe it's Bachman Turner Overdrive. I can't keep it straight, but that's what we have on the intercom right now. Well, the NFL draft's coming up Thursday. Are you excited? Who's on the clock? Well, I'm trying to remember who gets the draft first. I know the Vikings had a rough year last year, but they are not on the clock. I think they picked somewhere maybe around 11th. My Chargers had a very tough year. They're going to pick 5th. But I think the Bears are on the clock. I think the Chicago Bears are on the clock. And I think the Bears are supposed to take USC Trojans quarterback Caleb Williams with the first pick in that NFL draft, which comes your way Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It'll be fun when it gets here. We're still waiting. We're waiting for the umpires, and the umpires have arrived. So we are getting closer to first pitch. Great to see the umpires, the men of summer. They are ready to handle the proceedings. They've got their bottled water. The managers for both of these ball clubs are going to come out and exchange lineup cards, and we're getting closer to first pitch. It is 1:46 Mountain Time. Coach Torvey shaking hands with both of our managers today. And we'll go ahead here and make sure I get the right name for the manager for Sheridan. Austin Conrad, I believe it is. We'll go with that. Austin Conrad, the skipper for Sheridan. I'm reading some very poor, scratchy handwriting, so if it's not Austin Conrad, who is the manager for Sheridan, we'll try to get the accurate information as we move along. Troopers versus the Hardhats. Troopers had a good year last year. Again, these two teams met one another in June of 2023 at the College World Series Creighton Tournament. Hardhats were able to win. I believe that was a weekday morning game that Oliver was broadcasting to all of you fans, and Hardhats won 4-0, and we'll see how the Hardhats do today. This is the decisive third game of the opening series. Kevin Phillips, the new public address announcer, is at the microphone, and we'll turn it over to the PA announcer, Kevin Phillips, here, and get you ready for first pitch. You're watching Hardhats TV.
We'll start by introducing both teams as I announce the starting lineups. Players will go to their respective base paths. Starting for Sheridan. Batting first, number 7, center fielder Tyler Hutton. Batting second, at shortstop, number 2, Hale Hamrick. Batting third, right fielder, 23, Abby Barney. Batting fourth, third baseman, number 17, Tyler Reeson. Batting fifth, the pitcher, number 21, Will Greer. Batting sixth, number 6, left fielder, Riley Green. Batting seventh, the pitcher, number 4, Wayne Phillips. Batting eighth, first baseman, number 27, Ethan Evans. Batting ninth, second baseman, number 3, Tanner Hamrick. Now the remaining Troopers. Head coach, Austin Brown, coached by Brian Bricks. Now to speak, post 22. Batting first, third baseman, number 10, Aiden Roberts. Batting second, baseman, number 18, Wyatt Reader. Batting third, right field, number 29, Kate Crosby. Batting cleanup, first baseman, number 27, Alex Diedrich. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 20, Hayden Hollick. Batting sixth, the left field, number 23, Aaron Roach. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 11, John Betts. Batting eighth, center fielder, number 16, Carter Johnson. And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 15, Wilson Keeper. Pitching tonight, for today, number 19, River Walker. Now the remaining hockey players. Head coach, South Dakota Sports Hall of Famer, Kelvin Torby. Nick Henry and Rick Miller. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please stand if you're able. Remove your caps and face the flag of the honor of America with our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars thrill the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
We are ready for baseball. We're happy to have you along with us, Mike Fell, filling in for the voice of Hardhats TV this year, Oliver Fell, and here we go. We are set for an afternoon that promises to bring plenty of excitement as these two teams are out in their light blue uniforms, the powder blues for the Hardhats, the light blue for the Sheridan Troopers, and we get things started off with River Walters set to take on Tyler Hutton. Hutton, the left-handed batter, will face right-hander River Walters. River really came on mid-season, never looked back. He is warming up. River wears number 19. That's the number of my all-time favorite player, the late great Tony Gwynn of the San Diego Padres, aka Mr. Padre himself, Tony Gwynn Sr. And River Walters getting set to face Tyler Hutton here at Dave Plew Field at Fitzgerald Stadium. Let's give a big shout out to General Manager of the Post 22 program, Wayne Sullivan. Appreciate all of his help in getting things set up yesterday, and I think it was Kathy Minnick. She also helped us out. And we had some what you call digital cobwebs, or some fiery hoops to jump through. We're sorry we missed an inning of the first of what was a 14 inning showcase of doubleheader baseball last night. But we got on the air and we pulled it off, and now we have a little bit of a lagging video issue. Our stream is our actual software stream looks perfect. It's simply a matter of our accommodations with the Wi-Fi system being out of commission here at the ballpark, at least for right now, and our makeshift system is giving you this broadcast, but we have some lagging video, and we apologize for that. Here we go. Tyler Hutton, left-handed hitter, comes up to bat against River Walters. First pitch is drilled off the top of Walters' glove. He gets the ball, no throw at first, and that'll be an infield single for Tyler Hutton to leave things off for the Sheridan Troopers. What a great community Sheridan is. I've called a couple of great football games in Bighorn. That's a small community just to the south of Sheridan. When I was living in northwest Wyoming in the Bighorn Basin, I used to broadcast my share of Lovell games against Bighorn. About 10 years ago or so. There's a pitch over for strike one. Sheridan has a McDonald's, a lot of other fast food options. They discovered, I think, some rare earth minerals in a mine just north of Sheridan. That could have a huge economic impact on that community. Hutton with a bit of a lead off of first. River Walters likes his sign, nods twice, now fires, and that pitch is over for strike two. Cale Hamrick looks like he's going to try to bunt the runner ahead with a sacrifice here, but he can only do it if he makes contact. Right now, River Walters, right-hander against right-hander, trying to get his man, leading in the count 0-2, with Tyler Hutton with a lead and looking like he's going to take off for second at any moment. There's a pitch, it's fouled back, and that's a ball for some youngsters to chase. Want to again welcome Kevin Phillips, longtime broadcasting legend in this community. He is the public address announcer this year, and Andy Shaw's done a super job in years of recent vintage. Here comes a pitch from Walters, and it is right in the back of Cale Hamrick. Hamrick didn't shy away from the contact as he turns into an inside pitch that you know Walters would love to have back. So after a leadoff infield smash off of the pitcher's glove and now hitting a man in the back, Walters is off to a bit of a wobbly beginning. Now Avon Barney comes up to hit. Barney, another left-handed bat, in the lineup for Coach Conrad for Sheridan. Walters looks back to second, throws it high. It's a pitch out. The double steal was not happening. When you can get two men on with nobody out, you just have that advantage as as a team at the plate to be as aggressive or as patient as you want to be. Circumstances do not dictate your sense of destiny. Walters looks back to second, now fires home. That pitch is inside for a ball. River Walters, he's thrown a couple of strikes, but he is definitely meeting his match against the top of the order to start this pivotal Game 3 of this three-game series here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Walters looks in, gets his sign, looks back to the runners, fires a pitch, and there's a bunt foul off of the screen. Count now moves to 2-1 strike. You know, both of these teams would love this victory today to be 2-1 to start the year. Hardhats will not play again until Saturday afternoon in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So this is really going to be a mood or tone setter. This decisive rubber match game today on a beautiful afternoon for baseball here in Rapid City. Walters looks back, Tyler Hutton back to second base. Both runners for the Troopers showing a bit of a lead. There's a bunt, and that's a foul bunt. And that time there was a bit of sink to River Walters' offering. And the count now squares at 2-2 strikes. This would be a big out if River could get it right here. Facing Avon Barney, the number 3 hitter for Sheridan. 2 on, nobody out here in the top of the first inning. Walters, suddenly not as deliberate as he was a few moments earlier. Looks back to second. See if the runners take off. They do not. There's a pitch. That's strike 3. Barney doesn't like it. River Walters tips his cap and smiles. And that is a very big K-1 here in the top of the first. Keeps runners at first and second with just 1 out. And now Tyler Reeson comes to bat. Reeson, a right-hander, trying to do some damage here in a big spot early in this game here at Fitzgerald Stadium. A deep cut by Reeson as a foul back to the screen. River gets ahead of the hitter. River was ahead of Cale Hamrick, the second batter in this inning, 0-2, but he drilled Hamrick in the back with his third pitch in that at-bat sequence. Here comes the pitch from Reeson, and that pitch is outside. Count now 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from River Walters. And now we have time called. Walters taking his time, and the batter getting some time. Here comes the 1-1 pitch from River. 2 on, 1 out here in the top of the first. There's a throw back to second. They were going to try to get the runner, Tyler Hutton, picked off second. That didn't happen as Hutton's able to get back safely. Now River looks for a sign, waits for the opportunity to pitch, and he does, and that pitch is outside. River does not work very quickly. He's very methodical. If this was golf, you might say River Walters would remind one of Bernhard Langer. There's a pitch. Ball is popped skyward, way up into the air. I think Bentz has a play, and he does. That's out number 2. Philip Bentz with the catch. And listen to the fans. And how about River Walters? He is now getting very close to getting out of this first inning with an effective Houdini act. Let's see what River Walters can do now as he faces Will Greer, the opposing starting pitcher in this ball game. Walters looks back to second, now fires, and that ball is outside for a ball. Will Greer, a fine player. I remember him mentioned last year as a good player to keep an eye on. Here comes the pitch from Walters, and that pitch is high and inside for a ball. Count is 2-0 in favor of the hitter Will Greer. Still a man in scoring position and a man at first. 2 on, 2 out. Walters trying to avoid what early on looked like perhaps a bit of a catastrophic opening to this contest. Here comes a pitch. It's outside for ball 3. Remember that Walters does have a base open if he doesn't want to force things with this 3-0 count. Mike Fell with you, filling in for Oliver Fell. Want to thank Cody Oliver for filling in for me last night. Here's a pitch, and it's over for a strike. I had the opportunity to celebrate the wedding of some dear friends, Dave and Debbie Stewart. They were married yesterday, and they are the owners of Uncle Louie's Diner across the Northern Hills and in Sundance, Wyoming. Here comes a pitch, 3-1 pitch, and there's a swing and a miss, and the count goes full. River Walters is a strike away from dancing the dance of danger and coming out okay. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here comes the payoff pitch from River Walters. Greer digs in. Walters fires, and that pitch is away. It's outside, and the runners will advance, and that's ball 4. And now we will have a reset. River was just 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning, and now the count is full and the bases are juiced. And here comes a visit from the pitching coach as number 6 hitter Riley Green is in the on-deck circle for the Sheridan Troopers. Man alive, that time River had them right where they wanted them, just couldn't quite get it. River couldn't play the River card when he wanted to there. Umpire coming out to adjourn the conversation between the pitching coach and River Walters. It's great to hear that organ. There's nothing like an organ in a ballpark. Or a church, I guess. But there's something about an organ at a ballpark. It's pretty good. All right, Walters. Bases loaded, 2 outs, facing Riley Green, and that first pitch is high for ball 1. Can River Walters keep this a scoreless tie going into the bottom of the first? We will find out in just the next 2 minutes or less. Here's a pitch from Walters. It's popped up and playable. Calling for it's Dietrich, and he makes the catch. And River Walters gives Sheridan fans their money's worth, but keeps the score at 0-0. River Walters able to get out of an early jam with a pop-up to Alex Dietrich, who is playing first base today. In the top of the first inning, there were no runs. There was 1 infield hit There was a hit by pitch. There were no errors. And there were 3 troopers left on base. Through a half inning of baseball at Fitzgerald Stadium in Rapid City. No score between Sheridan and Post 22. The Hardhats are coming up next with Roberts, Reeder, and Crossway to lead the way for Post 22. What a day at the old ballpark. So glad to have you with us wherever you're watching. If you're watching from Wyoming, we're glad to have you. If you're watching from here in Rapid City, come on down to the ballpark if you can. This is the place to be. Beautiful day. There's people wearing shorts. There's also people wearing sweatshirts and 2 layers, but I think it's just that kind of a day. You can decide if you're warm or you're not. I'm wearing short sleeves. I saw it was going to be up to the low 60s today, and I said I'm not going to go cold. I'm going to go warm today. So I am here in the press box in the shade, and to be candid, it doesn't get too cold in this press box. I think it has to do with how it sits, and the wind doesn't just get in here because we face directly to the east, and usually the wind is coming from the 3 directions that don't come through our open window. Will Greer throwing his warm-up tosses for Sheridan. Sheridan won game 1 of the doubleheader last night, 6-5, and then the Hardhats rolled to victory in the late game. It was 8-0 when I called it a night late last night. Just don't stay up as late as I used to. And when the Hardhats are up 8-0 and Lee Negebauer is on the mound, I'm thinking it's a Hardhats victory. How about you? So here we go. Aiden Roberts. Aiden, who made his debut in the spring last year and never looked back as the starter at the hot corner this year. And he leads things off as we begin game 3's bottom of the first inning, with Roberts chopping a foul ball that's handled by one of the coaches for the Hardhats. One thing can definitely be said for Coach Torby's assistant coaches is Kelvin standing at third base in the third base box, and that is that these coaches have good hands. You toss a ball around the bus or something, they'll catch it. Here comes a pitch, it's outside and low. 1-1 count. Looking forward to that trip down to Cheyenne next Saturday and Sunday, and that's kind of the Chick-fil-A ballpark. The Chick-fil-A in Cheyenne is literally right past the center field wall. There's a foul ball towards the base of the light tower in left field. Understand there's going to be a Chick-fil-A in Rapid City, and we're no longer in that category of we'll believe it when we see it. We're really told this time there will be a Chick-fil-A in Rapid City. How about that? Here comes a 1-2 pitch from Greer. Roberts leans into it, hits the ball, and it will drop for a base hit. Leadoff hit by Aiden Roberts, a marvelous piece of hitting. Roberts was down in the count 1-2, and he extended below the strike zone, made contact, and lifted that ball between the shortstop and center fielder to get on base. And now here comes Wyatt Reeder. When I think of Wyatt last year, I think of that Mother's Day home run he hit in Watertown into the creek bed in right field. What a moment that was at old Watertown Stadium. And I mean, that is an old stadium. It's concrete, was erected in 1961. It even has its own Wikipedia page. Wyatt Reeder, left-handed hitter, trying to move Aiden Roberts along. Aiden, of course, a serious threat to steal second base. Here comes a 1-0 pitch from Greer, ball hit, smashed into right field. That's a base hit. Reeder drills the ball between the first and second baseman, and after a pair of singles, the Hardhats now put Will Greer, the Sheridan starter, in the same exact position that River Walters was in the top half of this first inning, with 2 on and nobody out. Let's give a shout out to Linda. She's watching from Elkhorn, Nebraska. Linda, I almost went to Elkhorn Mount Michael Catholic boarding school. Decided not to do that. Went to Creighton Prep instead. Was very happy I made that choice. I'm sure Mount Michael would have been great, but anyway, Elkhorn's a great place. Back in the day, it was really kind of outside of Omaha. Now it's kind of been either enveloped or annexed to the point that it's really a part of the Omaha area. Wyatt Reeder set to face Tate Crossweight. Crossweight, left-handed slugger, waits for the pitch, and that pitch is inside at the knees for a ball. Aiden Roberts and Wyatt Reeder with a pair of base knocks, putting 2 on with nobody out for Coach Torvey's Hardhats. Coach Torvey, in his preview comments with KOTA broadcaster Steve Ammerman, talked about team speed being a big part of the mix. There's a throwback to second. Roberts gets back easily and slides in there. Roberts, a very heady player. You rarely see any mental errors made by Aiden Roberts. In fact, I can say this without any hesitation. I've never seen him make a mental error, but I haven't seen every single inning he's played either. Here's a pitch over, and it is up just outside for a ball. Tate Crossweight going to be selective as the pressure is being applied to Will Greer, the number 3 starter for the Sheridan Troopers. Sheridan and Rapid City Post 22 trying to win the series today. There's a possible double play ball. It goes to second. Throw to first is in time. And Tate Crossweight grounds into a double play. That's a 6-4-3 double play. The shortstop for the Troopers, Cale Hamrick, he had the ball smash off of his chest, but give him credit. He stayed with it. And now there are 2 outs with Aiden Roberts at third base. Roberts representing the go-ahead run. And here comes Alex Dietrich. Dietrich fouls it right off the window. Wow, that was pretty close to yours truly. I could have caught it if there wasn't a window there. Either that or I could have embarrassed myself. No score. We are in the bottom of the first inning. Roberts is at third base, waiting for the pitch. And there's a wild pitch. This might bring home a run, and it does! Aiden Roberts scores on a wild pitch from Will Greer, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Hardhats. So bouncing back from a double play a moment ago, the Hardhats do cash in the first run of this game. It's Post 22 1, Sheridan 0. Now the bases are empty with Alex Dietrich waiting on a 1-1 pitch, and Dietrich golfs it to the first baseman who makes the catch, and that will finish the inning. But the Hardhats do plate a run and have a 1-0 lead after an inning of play. There was 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there were no men left on base. The Hardhats will now take the field. River Walters will go back out there. And a good question was asked. Are there 1 or 2 games today? There's just 1. We thank our viewer for that question. This is the one game afternoon being played this afternoon. Sheridan will load the bus and get back to Wyoming. And Sheridan's about 3.5 hours all interstate from here, going west. It takes about 2 hours to reach Gillette and another hour and a half from Gillette to get to Sheridan. So expect Sheridan's troopers. If it's a 3-hour game, they'll get back between 7 and 8 o'clock tonight, you would think. They might stop for a big dinner or something in Gillette, I don't know. Hardhats leading Sheridan 1-0. Leading things off for Sheridan will be catcher Blaine Phillips. Blaine, a left-handed hitter, will go to the bat for the first time, and want to thank a listener pointing out we have a video lagging, and we apologize. We're aware of this fact. It has to do with the home stadium Wi-Fi being out of operation, and we're using a backup system, and this is what we have available. We apologize for the video lagging. Here comes a pitch from Walters. Ball hit hard to center. It'll be handled on a bounce, and Phillips is on board with a base hit to start things off here in the top of the second inning. Ethan Evans, he will be batting right-handed. He'll face Walters. Walters giving up leadoff hits to start both of these innings here in this one. Walters does not want to play fireman all day. So far, he's played it pretty well. Giving up 2 hits on the day, but yet to allow a run in a 1-0 game in favor of Post 22. Here comes a pitch, and there's a swing and a miss. Ethan Evans with a good cut, but no contact. What a great environment Fitzgerald Stadium is. Perhaps the premier place to watch Legion baseball anywhere in the United States of America. Here comes a pitch. The ball is bunted to Walters, handled cleanly, shovel pass to Dietrich at first. Is it going to result in a ground out? That's a 1-3 put out if you're scoring at home. Ethan Evans is retired. Blaine Phillips advances to second on the play. A de facto sacrifice there. Now here comes number 9 hitter for Sheridan, Tanner Hamrick. Hamrick, a right-handed swinger, waits for the first pitch from Walters. Walters' pitch is a high fastball for ball 1. River Walters looks like he's gained a little bit of size and muscle to his frame from a year ago. Here comes a pitch from Walters. That's over for a strike. Count now evens at 1 apiece. On deck is the leadoff hitter Tyler Hutton, who singled his first time at bat. Ball is hit hard to the shortstop. Throw to first is in time, and Tanner Hamrick is retired. Nice play made that time by Wilson Kiefer at short. Great job by Wilson. Now here comes Tyler Hutton. Tyler Hutton, 1 for 1 so far today, trying to tie the game with Blaine Phillips at second in scoring position. And there's a wild pitch by River Walters, and Phillips will advance 90 feet to third base. And now Hutton is ahead in the count with the tying run with a little bit of a lead, less than 90 feet from home plate. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from River Walters. That's a swing and a miss, and looked like Walters kind of pulled the string on Hutton right there. And that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, we apologize for our streaming. We just don't have home Wi-Fi. Here's a pitch that goes away from the catcher for a ball. Or rather, that's a strike. So here comes a 1-2 pitch. Can Walters get out of trouble 2 innings in a row when allowing runners to reach as far as third base? Here comes a pitch. That's low, handled well by Philip Bentz, and it's now a 2-2 count. Bentz doing a good job behind the plate so far for the Hardhats. River Walters with the man at third and 2 outs. Here comes his 2-2 pitch, and that ball is chipped away foul. Good survival B-hack right there by Tyler Hutton. You can see why Tyler's a leadoff hitter. He's just a good hitter for Sheridan. He's a left-handed hitter that can definitely cover the plate well with his bat. There's a pitch low, and the count goes full to Tyler Hutton. The last time River Walters had a full count, he walked a man with a wild pitch. This time that would result in a run. Let's see what happens here. Walters gets a swing and a miss, strike 3. Tyler Hutton strikes out. And now, for the second consecutive inning, River Walters works around early trouble and keeps the score 1-0 in favor of the Hardhats. In the top of the second inning, for Sheridan, they did not score a run. They did have a leadoff hit by Blaine Phillips. There were no errors, and Blaine Phillips was left at first base. We're midway through inning number 2. It's post 22-1, and Sheridan nothing, live from Fitzgerald Stadium. You're watching Hardhats TV. Let's give you a few Major League Baseball scores. The San Diego Padres, my Padres, lead the Toronto Blue Jays 1-0 at Petco Park in the bottom of the first inning. The Milwaukee Brewers, the first place Brew Crew, Bob Uecker's team, lead the Cardinals 2-0 in the Gateway City. Orioles all over the Royals today, 4-0. Boston, they're off to a good start. They are on top of Pittsburgh 6-1 in the top of the ninth. The Tigers just destroying the Twins today, 5-0. Florida Marlins lead the Cubs 6-3. No score in the fifth inning between the Mariners and Rockies. Didn't expect to see a scoreless tie at Coors Field. Never expect to see a scoreless tie at Coors Field. And we're back to action as Hayden Hollick comes up to bat. Hayden, right-handed hitter, waits for the pitch from Will Greer, who got roughed up a little bit in the first inning, but only gave up 1 run. Hardhats leading 1-0. Mike Fell filling in for Oliver Fell, who will be with you coming up on May 7th when the Hardhats host the Post 320 Stars. I'll be with you in Cheyenne, and I'll be with you in Billings, and also on May Day in Gillette, until Oliver takes the microphone for a summer of broadcasting. First 2 pitches are outside for a ball. Ball is hit right to the third baseman. Throw to first is in time, and Hollick is retired 5-3 to lead things off in the bottom of the second inning. Now Aaron Roach comes up to hit. Aaron Roach, he really played well when he had limited opportunities early in the season last year. At one point, he had a on-base percentage around 600 last year. Roach, a right-handed hitter who plays left field this afternoon, watches the first pitch sail inside for a ball. Philip Bentz is on deck. And Carter Johnson is in the hole for Coach Torby's Hardhats. Here comes the pitch, and it is fouled over the pavilion for a strike. Aaron Roach, one of the leaders at St. Thomas More High School, fine young man, ready to have a big year for the Hardhats this year. Roach waiting for the Pitch from Will Greer. Here comes. That pitch is over for a strike. Will Greer trying to retire the lead out, the number 2 hitter here in this second inning for post 22. Hardhats sporting their powder blues today. Pitch from Greer is in the dirt. The count now evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, we apologize for the lagging video. It has to do with our Wi-Fi being down, and we're using a makeshift Wi-Fi system here. There's a swing and a miss and a quick tag, and Roach is down on strikes. That's the first strikeout of the ball game for Will Greer. So 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats here in the second inning. And now here comes Phillip Bentz. Phillip Bentz, who hit a home run in Billings last year. Remember that well. I'm sure he hit plenty of other home runs. I just remember the excitement and watching some of the Hardhats just going into absolute jubilation against the Billings Scarlets in that Saturday night game under the lights in Billings last year. Pitch to, we'll be in Billings again in 2 weeks. Here's a pitch, and that is outside for a ball. 1-1 count, nobody on, 2 out. We're in the bottom of the second, post 22 on top, 1-0. Mike Fell with you here on Hardhats TV. There's a foul ball. We got some news here that there should be an Ethernet hookup in the booth. Boy, that would be great to have. Now I need to figure out where there might be an Ethernet cord. Thank you for that. Here comes a pitch. Ball lifted up towards the sky and caught by the shortstop for Sheridan. That is Cale Hamrick, and that will be a 1-2-3 inning for Will Greer. Through 2 innings of play here at Fitzgerald Stadium, it's post 22-1, and the Sheridan Troopers nothing. In the bottom of the second inning, there were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. And I'm going to take a little break here and search for some type of an Ethernet connection. See if I can get off of our Wi-Fi setup here, as that would be great if we could pull that off. So bear with me. I'll be back when Sheridan comes to the plate with Cale Hamrick, Avon Barney, and Tyler Eason set to bat here in the top of the third. Post 22 up 1-0. This is Hardhats TV.
Shortstop, number 2, Cale Hamrick.
Cale Hamrick comes up to bat. Well, here's the good news. I found an Ethernet cord. Now I have to figure out how it fits into this narrow little laptop of ours. We're working on giving you video that does not have a lagging component to it. As up to bat right now is Cale Hamrick. To lead things off in the third inning, Hamrick hits the ball high into the air towards center. Carter Johnson calls for it and drops the ball. That'll be an error on the center fielder, Carter Johnson, in E8. And Cale Hamrick will be safe at first base. Carter Johnson, praised for his speed, just couldn't close the glove on that ball. And maybe he was a little distracted by the middle infielders for post 22 coming back and being so close in the vicinity. Here comes the pitch to Avon Barney. Barney squares the bunt, and there's a ball. Avon Barney struck out his first time at bat back in the first inning. We're in the top of the third. Hardhats leading 1-0. Both these teams with a pair of singles so far. Haven't seen a lot of fireworks yet. No stolen bases either. Pitchers, they've been in some tight spots, but have essentially limited the damage here in the early going. Here's a pitch to Barney. It's over the glove of Walters to the second baseman. Throw to first is in time. Nice play that time by Wyatt Reeder. Reeder able to retire Avon Barney for the first out, and K.O. Hamrick advances from first to second. And that'll bring up Tyler Reeson, the cleanup hitter in this lineup for Sheridan. Here comes the pitch to Reeson, and that's a swing and a miss. Some high heat from River Walters. Mercy. Ball is hit hard into the outfield. That is trouble. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Tyler Reeson ties this game 1-1. And Tyler Reeson with a smash. About the moment I said we haven't seen any fireworks, we saw our first hard hit, deep swing in the game. This is definitely a pitcher's park, but if you can hit the gaps like Reeson did, that ball will roll a long ways, and it rolled almost 393 feet into the power alley and the deep part of left center field. And now Reeson, with a stand-up double, has tied this game at 1-1. We have a good one for you here, the rubber match of this ball game. And we're still working on trying to get the video to stop lagging. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing evidence that I have a port that's going to work directly with my computer, my laptop, and this Ethernet, but I've got something I do have something I'm going to try in a moment. Some of these new computers are not certainly set up well for Ethernet ports. Just don't see a port with this particular laptop, but we're working on the situation. Ball is hit to right field, and it is foul. We're glad you're with us wherever you're watching. My name is Mike Fell, filling in for my son Oliver, who will be with you in a little over 2 weeks. I'm excited to get to take Oliver to Target Field again this year. As soon as he gets back to Rapid City from college, we're going to take in the Seattle Mariners and the Minnesota Twins. Oliver is a die-hard, and I mean die-hard, Seattle Mariners fan. He loves his M's, just like I love my Padres. 2-2 count to Will Greer. Greer trying to help his own cause. Go-ahead run is at second base with just one out. River Walters was hit hard for the first time today, a moment ago. There's a swing and a miss. Throw to first is going to record the strikeout. So Greer strikes out, and that is now the third strikeout of the afternoon for River Walters. So there are 2 outs with Riley Green coming to the plate. Riley flew out to first base with the bases jammed back in the opening inning. There's a cut and a foul ball. Riley Green with a pitch he definitely wanted to groove right there. On deck is Blaine Phillips. Blaine with an impressive single his first time up. Would love to come to the plate here in the top half of the third inning. Here's a swing and a miss. Runner takes off, and that'll be a stolen base for Tyler Eason. That'll be the first stolen base of the game for either team. We're in the top of the third in a 1-1 ball game. The winner of this game will win the series 2 games out of 3. Last night, in case you missed it, the Troopers scratched the go-ahead run in the top of the 7th inning across and held on for a narrow victory, 6-5 win over Post 22, and then the Hardhats won in a decisive blowout late last night over the Troopers with Lee Negebauer pitching yet another masterpiece. 1-2 count now coming up to Riley Green. Here comes the pitch to Riley. And that pitch is just outside. 2-2 count. Go ahead run. Runner is just 90 feet away. Walters fires and gets the swing and a miss. And yet again, Walters, for the third time in as many innings, strands a Trooper at third base. He is making this tightrope act look like a walk in the park. We're through 2.5 innings of play. Sheridan won. Your Hardhats won. We head to the bottom of the third inning. This is Hardhats TV. Looking at the top of the third inning, there was 1 run. It was unearned. There was 1 hit. There was 1 very big error in center, and there was 1 man left at third. We are all tied, 1-1. We now head to the bottom of the third inning. You're watching Hardhats TV. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other Major League scores. The New York Yankees beat the Rays in the Bronx today, 5-4. Rays are very banged up right now. Phillies beat the White Sox 8-2. The White Sox fans, they might be putting some of those New Orleans Saints fans old-time grocery sacks over their head. The White Sox are 3-18 to start the year. That's almost about as bad a start as but not as bad as the 1987 Baltimore Orioles. Well, here we go. Carter Johnson to lead things off. Looking to get things off to a great beginning here in the bottom half of the third inning. First pitch from Will Greer is over for a strike. Well, these 2 starting pitchers, Will Greer for Sheridan and River Walters for Post 22, have been what you call resourceful today. There's a foul ball that is off of the booth right in front of Kevin Phillips, our new public address announcer. Enjoyed meeting Kevin earlier this afternoon. What a legend he is. Carter Johnson waits for the pitch. It's in the dirt. It skips to the catcher. And it's now an 1-2 count. We had a little bit of a glitch there with the scoreboard, but they fixed the glitch, as the phrase goes from the movie Office Space. They fixed the glitch. Here comes the pitch to Johnson. It's fouled back to the screen. Here comes the 5th pitch to Carter. Carter, he has speed to burn. Haven't seen the speed on display yet, but I'm told it is there in spades. Here comes the pitch to Carter, and that just about clipped Carter's belt. But Carter's able to step out of the way, and the count squares at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Happy you're with us on a beautiful day for baseball, April 21st, 2024. There's a pitch outside, and the count goes full. Now here comes the 7th pitch in this at-bat. Let's see what Carter Johnson can do right here, right now. In this 1-1 tie as Johnson leads off here in the 3rd inning for the Hardhats. Ball is fouled away to the berm in right field. What a battle this has been between Carter Johnson and Will Greer. Definitely the top battle we've had at the plate so far this afternoon. Here comes the pitch from Greer. It's smashed between the shortstop. No, it's handled by the shortstop, but the shortstop can't hammer it, can't get enough on the throw. And Johnson, yep, he runs like a gazelle. He's able to get an infield base hit. Give credit to the shortstop for Sheridan, Cale Hamrick. He couldn't record the out, but he showed some serious range and some nice lateral quickness on that last play. Now Wilson Kiefer comes to bat for the first time today. Greer's first pitch to Kiefer. It's bunted right back to the pitcher. Sacrifice bunt is going to work as Kiefer is out on a sac bunt, 1-3. If you're scoring with us, and Johnson advances to second on the sacrifice. That's some textbook hard hat Torvey baseball right there. And now here comes Aiden Roberts, known as AR. He is ready to go. He singled and scored his first time up back in the 1st. And now we're going to have a little bit of a conference as Will Greer will share a secret DM, you might say, between the home plate and the pitcher's mound. Look at me dropping these technical terms. If you're watching, Oliver, you should be proud of your dad right now. I just dropped a DM term. How about that? That stands for direct message, in case you're curious. There's a pitch over for a strike. I guess that's what you call it. If you put your glove over your mouth and you say something between a pitcher and a catcher, it's a DM. It is a direct message, not being shared with anybody but the 2 players involved. Here comes the pitch to Roberts. It's lifted towards right. It's caught. Here comes Johnson on a sack and sacrifice, and he is thrown out. That was not hit very deep, and that'll be a double play as Johnson rather, is retired 9-5 as the song goes for the 3rd out. And that'll be a F8 as Roberts is retired and Johnson's retired on the 9-5 throw out from right field to 3rd base. In a somewhat interesting or unique bottom of the 3rd, Hardhats failed to score. There was one hit, one very impressive sacrifice, and a throw him out, catch him, throw him out, double play from right field to end the inning. There were no errors, there was one hit, there were no runs, and there were no men left on base. We go to the 4th inning. We have a good one going here in Rapid City. 1-1 is our score. And we go to the bottom 3rd of the order for Sheridan. I'm going to continue to work on this lagging video issue. I'm going to try something different here. We should not be disconnected, but I'm going to try something different. Well, what I tried didn't work, but we're still on the air. Here we go. We're going to have a conference at the mound.
The Troopers. Catcher number 4, Wayne Phillips.
Wayne Phillips coming up to bat. Looks like we have a new pitcher out there. We do. River Walters' outing has come to an end, and closing the book on River. It was nothing to put on a postcard, but it wasn't bad. Just gave up 1 run on 3 hits, worked around a error, and actually River didn't give up any earned runs in his 3 innings of work. We now go to the top of the 4th, and we'll see who's out there as the new pitcher. Waiting for him to be identified. It's a hard throwing left-hander out of the bullpen for post 22. And I am going to check my lineup card here and identify this pitcher. There's a strike and a swing and a miss. Wayne Phillips goes down here in the top of the 4th inning. It's Broden Sales that is the pitcher. There's a chopper to Broden, throw to first in time. And the umpire has fallen down. Is he okay? He is lying on his back. This could be serious. It may just be a leg cramp. Let's hope that's all it is. Home plate umpire is on his back down the first base line, being attended to by a trainer. Let's hope this is just a Charlie horse. These umpires, we love these guys. They are real pros, do a marvelous job, and they have served this game so well for so many years. And Sheridan gives a cup of water to the umpire, and that's what you need. You either need fluids or bananas for potassium when you get a Charlie horse. Sometimes I get a Charlie horse when I'm just sleeping. Those things hurt. Thankfully, it's not 100 degrees out there. Let's hope the umpire's going to be okay. He's just, I think, got a tightness in his lower leg as he is on his back, and they're working with the umpire, trying to make sure he's okay. Seems to be fine. All of his signs seem to be there. He's talking, but I say fine as in, I don't think he's got anything that would require having to leave the ballpark, but he is definitely in some agonizing pain on his back, and let's see when he tries to get up again. But let's hope he's okay. That's our home plate umpire. It's kind of on his elbows right now, and we have a breakage in the action. 1-1 score, 2 on, or rather 2 out, nobody on in the top of the 3rd inning. Broden Sales has come in, and with his somewhat Tim Lincecum-like delivery, has really changed the tenor of this game. Getting a strikeout to Wayne Phillips, and then recording a ground out, 1-3 putout to Ethan Evans. Tanner Hamrick will bat after this timeout with the umpire on his back. And another thing to keep in mind, if you're an umpire, this is the beginning of the season. You know, there really is no such thing as spring training for umpires. You're just out there. You're just out there. It's kind of a cold start, a cold crank, so to speak. So it's not easy if you're an umpire to just go out there without having a lot of training games. And they're still working on the leg of the home plate umpire. And man, whatever is ailing this umpire is not going away easily. Let's hope he's okay. This has gone on for about 5 minutes now. He has been given some fluids. This is the kind of thing that just happens. You just get that old Charlie horse. It looks like that's what's ailing our home plate umpire. He's going to get up here in a moment. Coach Torvey and trainer and another man gets him to his feet. And listen to the applause for this home plate umpire. Let's hope he's okay. He's going to drink some water and looks like he might leave. Yeah, he's not in position to stand and just get right behind the plate. So expect the partner of this gentleman to step behind home plate. We may either have an alternate umpire in attendance go out to the base paths, or we may have just one umpire the rest of the way, or this gentleman might be able to get some fluids, maybe get some bananas in him with some potassium to fight the leg cramp or the Charlie horse he seems to have, and maybe we'll see this gentleman back out there. Okay, well, we are in the first weekend of the season. We had our first, you might call it scary moment, but let's hope this umpire's okay. He's still being assisted by a pair of hard hat coaches. Looks like he's going to have a seat by the base of the right field light tower and just kind of gather himself, and let's hope he's okay. We're in a 1-1 tie. We apologize for the lagging video. We tried the Ethernet option, but we had a problem. We didn't have a port to support the Ethernet cable interface that we have here. So we are unfortunately staying with our original setup. We're glad you're with us. We will be back with you Saturday from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Looking forward to being with you from the capital city of the Cowboy State. And no, Cheyenne is not. They are not the largest city in Wyoming, even though they're the only city in Wyoming with a Chick-fil-A, which is beyond their power alley in right field in Cheyenne. Instead, they are the second largest city because Casper is the largest city in Wyoming. Cheyenne is the second largest city. Got a little bit of Blues Brothers music playing, and well, I'll tell you, that is one exciting movie. You'll never look at a shopping mall the same way if you watch the original Blues Brothers movie from 1980 with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. Well, our delay continues on, and I don't know where the other umpire went to. Our umpire that had the issue was on his back. He is now smiling, being tended to. It looks like there's going to be a wheelchair wheeled down to take that umpire up to where he can be observed. And maybe this umpire's going to get a little bit more of a check over than I originally prognosticated. And boy, if anyone ever relied on yours truly for medical advice, I guess there's some riverfront beachfront property in Arizona. We are in the top of the fourth inning, nobody on, 2 outs. Braden Sales is on the mound. Braden Sales has really had a long gap here. And hope that if you're a Hardhats fan, that doesn't affect things too much. Sales, who attends St. Thomas More High School, is going to throw some warm-up tosses to Philip Benz. And I don't know where the other umpire went to. He was there to hand water to his partner, and now he's gone. We just don't have any umpires around. Maybe what's happening is the umpire that was out in the infield had to go get a chest protector. And now we have Darren Good bringing the wheelchair with the home plate umpire up the ramp. And I don't know if maybe, and then listen to this crowd. They're giving, let's clap for the umpire. They're giving the umpire a nice round of applause as Darren Good, who does everything for us here at the ballpark. And I mean everything. He gets the lineup cards, he wheels around the umpire, and boy, we sure appreciate all Darren Good does. And how about our great fans? Just letting the umpire know they're with them and appreciate him. And let's see where the umpire goes next. I think they're going to wheel him up the ramp and left down the third base line. And we now have an alternate umpire. Yay. And the regular infield umpire is to stay behind first base. So thankfully we had a spare umpire, and we're back to the 2 umpires at alignment. Ball is fouled out of play. So we had again a moment where the home plate umpire seemed to get a Charlie horse or a strong agonizing leg cramp. He's now being wheeled around by Darren Good down the left field line past the left field berm. We'll see if he stays in the ballpark or if he goes outside the ballpark for a little medical attention. Ball is popped up into the air. Called for by Philip Benz, the catcher, who makes the diving catch to retire the side. Braden Sales works a 1-2-3, top of the fourth inning, and retires the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for Sheridan after a lengthy break there with that episode involving the home plate umpire. Great catch by Philip Benz behind home plate, or actually right up against the screen between home plate and the visitors' dugout here at Fitzgerald Stadium. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. And through 3.5 innings of our 7-inning game, it's Sheridan 1 and Post 22 1, with the Hardhats bringing Wyatt Reeder, Tate Crosswade, and Alex Dietrich to the plate in the home half of the 4th inning. We're glad you're with us. No place we'd rather be than Fitzgerald Stadium watching a baseball game. Mike Fell filling in for Oliver Fell, the voice of Hardhats TV. Oliver will be with you starting May the 7th. I'll have all the games from Cheyenne, Gillette, and Billings before Oliver makes his trek north from the desert, where he's completing his junior year at Arizona State University. Hardhats getting some good pitching from Wyatt Reeder, or rather from not only Broden Sales, who just came out of the bullpen for Coach Kelvin Torvey, but starter River Walters. Walters' only run allowed was an unearned run in the top half of the
For
third inning.
Hardhats, number 18, second baseman, Wyatt Reeder.
Now Wyatt Reeder comes up to bat. Wyatt had a single his first time up. Wyatt comes up with the walk-up music to jump around. And here we go. Reeder waits for the pitch from Will Greer. Greer with a long gap since he pitched last. Fires a strike to get things underway here in the bottom of the fourth inning. This is just one of those games you sense may very well be decided by who does not lose the game. We always like to think in our mind of what we would call a heroic paradigm where somebody wins a game by doing something great. But many times in baseball, close games are lost more than they're won. Ball is hit to short, throw to first is in time to retire Wyatt Reeder to lead off the home half of the fourth inning. Seen it so many times in my years as a baseball fan that it's just whichever team keeps it together and plays the clean game deep into the game that often wins versus the team that has the timely hit or excels at situational hitting. Here comes an inside pitch for ball one to Tate Crossweight. Crossweight grounded out into a double play his first time up this afternoon. Starting to see a little bit of low-level cloud cover. They really don't look like clouds. They're just enough to keep the sun from shining extremely brightly like we saw earlier today. Beautiful afternoon here in Rapid City, South Dakota. 2-0 count now to Tate Crossweight from Will Greer. Crossweight fouls the ball, literally up against the catch-22 concession stand. Or gift shop, I should say. 2-1 count now to Tate. Nobody on, one out. Mike Fell with you here. Bottom of the fourth inning. Two teams with one run each with 3 runs apiece. It's been an evenly played rubber match to this point. These teams split their doubleheader last night. The winner of this series will be the winner of this game. Count now goes to 3-1. Crossweight can be selective, and he takes ball 4. So there's a walk, and Crossweight now representing the go-ahead run is at first. And here comes Alex Dietrich. Alex Dietrich, right-handed hitter with some prodigious power, digs in and waits for the pitch. I want to give a shout out to Harrison Good if you're watching today, Harry. We think the world of you. Look forward to having you back as a super senior this year. Harrison just hitting the cover off the ball down in Sterling, Colorado, I'm told, by my buddy Steve Ammerman. Ball is fouled back to the screen. Count now 0-1 to Alex Dietrich. Here comes the next pitch to Dietrich, taking off as Tate Crossweight, and Tate will have to turn around and jog back to first as the hit and run didn't work out as designed with that foul ball. And now the count is 0-2 to Alex Dietrich. Let's get your prayers up for the home plate umpire. He seemed to be okay, but he had a lower leg issue, put him on his back. We had a long delay. Ball is hit to center field for a hit by Alex Dietrich. Listen to the applause for Alex. 2 on now with only 1 out. Go-ahead run is advanced to scoring position, and Hayden Hollick will come to hit. Hayden Hollick gets ready to go to work. Here comes the pitch. Oh, check that. We were going to have a conference, but that was going to be a lonely conference. The catcher was ringing and the pitcher wasn't picking up, so to speak. He was ready to pitch. He didn't want to talk. Will Greer not messing around here. 2 on, 1 out. Here comes the pitch to Hayden Hollick. That's over for a strike. Will Greer exhibiting that trademark Wyoming grit. There's something about being from Wyoming. You've just got that big Wyoming grit. Comes through in everyone that's there. Here comes a pitch. It's outside for a ball. 1-1 count now to Hollick. Two on, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th, in a 1-1 ball game. Hardhats threatening to score here. Here comes a pitch from Greer. What a play by the catcher, Hamrick. He dug that out with a nice reversal move with his glove. That was an outside wild pitch in the making. But the runners do not advance. The star on that play by catcher Blaine Phillips for Sheridan. It was a marvelous play right there. 2-1 count now to Hayden Hollick. Greer pulls the string, gets a swing and a miss from Hollick, and the count now goes to 2-2. Hayden would love to come through here as the number 5 hitter for the Hardhats in a 1-1 ball game. Hardhats out hitting Sheridan so far 4-3. Will Greer looks for a sign, trying to keep this game tied here in the bottom of the 4th. Greer looks back at second base. And he steps off the rubber as he was completely distracted by Tate Crossweight. Crossweight, he is very nimble. I didn't realize how nimble he was until that last stretch. He is just dancing off of second base. And I don't know to what extent Tate can dance, but he definitely drew the attention, almost hypnotized Will Greer on the mound. Here comes a 2-2 pitch, 2 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 4th to Hayden Hollick. We're in a 1-1 tie. Pitch to Hollick is a swing and a miss for a strikeout. That's only the 2nd strikeout of the game for Will Greer, but man, is that a big one. Now Aaron Roach comes to the plate. Aaron Roach, he's a Cavalier from STM, and he is trying to come through right here, right now for post 22 on a powder blue Sunday here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Opening series of the year. Greer looks back at second, throws a pitch high, and catches the upper limits of the strike zone for strike 1. We've got an 0-1 count now to Aaron Roach. Roach trying to come through with a man in scoring position, 2 on, 2 out, here in the home half of the 4th inning. Here comes the pitch from Greer, the 0-1 pitch, and it is fouled out of play, and now Roach is down to his last strike. That ball landed right on the roof of our press box. These foul balls have been finding their way to us broadcasters so far this afternoon. Just fine with us. We can handle it. We're also somewhat insulated by very nice press box. Roach waits for the 0-2 pitch from Greer, and that is an outside pitch curveball. Give Aaron Roach credit. You can see why Aaron Roach had an on-base percentage north of 500 through the first half of last year as he lays off that tantalizing 0-2 offering from Will Greer. Here comes the next pitch to Roach. Aaron Roach watches that pitch go under the strike zone for a ball. And now we have a 2-2 count. Will Greer, he's thrown a lot of pitches. It looks like he still has managed to keep his core velocity on his fastballs. Will Greer, who has a namesake, who used to be the quarterback for the West Virginia Mountaineers. And what a good one at that. Here's a pitch. There's a swing and a miss, strike three. Back-to-back strikeouts by Will Greer keeps this game tied at 1 as Greer is mobbed by his Trooper teammates and through 4 innings of play. It's the Hardhats 1 and the Troopers 1. We go to the 5th inning in this rubber match, Game 3 of this 3-game series. You're watching Hardhats TV. In the bottom of the 4th inning, the Hardhats had 1 hit. There were no runs. There were no errors. There was a lengthy stoppage in play with the umpire lying on his back. And there were 2 Hardhats left on base. We go to the top half of the 5th inning. And a good one here in Rapid City with the Troopers sending the top of their order to the plate against Broden Sales, who's back out there. The hard-throwing left-hander with that kick pitch, kick out, Tim Lincecum delivery. Of course, everyone remembers Lincecum. He was the great ace for the San Francisco Giants in the early 2010s. Let's check some scores around the big leagues. The Guardians, they beat the A's 6-2 today. They're now 16-6. The Tigers beat the Twins 2 games out of 3. They win 6-1 in Minneapolis. Astros lose again to the Nationals 6-0. Dodgers on top of the Mets at Chavez Ravine 2-0. Mets have been red hot after an 0-5 start to the year. Diamondbacks lead San Francisco 1-0 in the city by the bay. Still no score at Coors Field between the Mariners and Rockies. And the Blue Jays and Padres tied at 2 in the top of the 5th inning. Let's get back to action here. Tyler Hutton quickly watching Broden Sales put him in a bit of a hole. It's a 1-2 count now to Hutton, the leadoff hitter here in the 5th inning in this tie game. There's a chopper to first. Easy one for Dietrich. He just handles the ball, steps on the bag, records the first out of the 5th inning. That'll be a ground out by Taylor Hutton. That's a U3, an unassisted first baseman put out if you're scoring along with us. Hutton, by the way, 1 for 3 today. And now here comes Cale Hamrick, and boy, has he reached base in a very interesting set of ways. Ball is hit hard to third. Third baseman falls down, throws to first, not in time. And that'll be either an error or an infield hit. We'll see how they score it. They're going to give him the error. So that'll be an error on Aiden Roberts. And Roberts really just lost his footing there, but unfortunately that's kind of a tough luck error. I mentioned Hamrick could reach base in a variety of ways. He reached on a hit by pitch in the first. Then he reached on a dropped ball in center in the third. And now he reaches as Roberts has a little wipeout around the hot corner with an E5. So whatever Hamrick did today to bring himself good luck. He needs to do that again. It's games like this that can turn a young man into a superstitious old man. Here we go. Avon Barney coming up to bat. Left-handed hitter is 0 for 2 today. Here's a throw back to Dietrich from Broden Sales. 1-1 tie. Hardhats have committed a pair of errors. It has cost them 1 run, but it has not cost them a deficit or a lead. Sales with a nice pickoff move, and they're going to call that, I think, a balk. They're going to award a balk. I thought that was just a brilliant pickoff move by the left-hander. Kind of reminded me of former Padres starter and current Brewers starter Eric Lauer with his pickoff move, but they say that Lauer committed enough to home plate that they awarded a base. So now Cale Hambrick with 1 out is at second base, and Avon Varney is getting set to step to the plate here in a moment. We're so glad you're with us on Hardhats TV. If you like the broadcast, give us a like. That lets everybody with the Google algorithms know how to find us easier. There's a bunt, and you can also, of course, subscribe to Hardhats TV on your YouTube TV, and then your games can be seen in archive form. And by the way, many times, folks, this is something I've encountered with the Cavalier Sports Network here in town, but many times if there's a lagging video, you won't have the problem when you go back and watch it. It's a weird thing, but sometimes you get a clean stream when you go back and watch a game. There's a pitch, and there's a strikeout. Avon Barney goes down. That's out number 2. Broden Sales with his second K of the ball game and second strikeout in as many innings. Now Tyler Risen comes to the plate. Tyler absolutely drilled a base hit in the left center field power alley back in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2 today, and he is accounted for the only RBI for the Sheridan Troopers in Game 3 of this series so far. We're in the top of the 5th, 1-1 tie. There's a pitch low and outside for a ball. Tyler Risen trying to bring home Cale Hambrick, who reached on an error earlier here in the visiting half of the 5th inning. Risen digs in, waits for the pitch from Sales. Righty-lefty matchup here. There's a pitch, and it is just off the plate for a ball. Risen able to work the count in his favor with 2 outs and a man at second. Big moment in this ball game. You sense whoever can go into the 6th or 7th inning with a bit of a lead may very well emerge victorious in this decisive Game 3 of this 3-game series. There's another outside pitch. It's a 3-0 count, and suddenly Broden Sales is working much slower than he did just a few moments earlier, for whatever reason. Sales' pitch is over for a strike. Risen thought he was ticketed for first base, and that time the umpire played the role of a TSA officer and said, "You're not going to go that way yet." Here we go. Here comes the 3-1 pitch to Risen, and that ball is hit foul down the 3rd base line all the way to the corner. And the count goes full on Broden Sales. Now with a full count and a man at second, has a chance to get out of this jam and keep this game tied at 1-1. Here comes a big pitch from Sales to Risen. Sales does not get his sign, and he steps off the rubber. Now Risen checks in, and here comes the big payoff pitch from Risen. to Risen. It's hit to the shortstop. Handled well. Throw to first in time to retire the side. And that's a 6-3 putout. Broden Sales gets his man and has worked 2 scoreless innings of relief for post 22. Through 4.5 innings of play. We're all tied at 1 here at Fitzgerald Stadium. It's Sheridan 1, the Hardhats 1, and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning as we hear "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" on the organ. In the top half of the 5th inning, there were no runs, there were no hits, there was 1 error, and there was 1 potential go-ahead run left at second base. Boy, this game has really lived up and surpassed many an expectation. If you're watching wherever you are, home plate umpire, we're still praying for you. We're praying you're okay. Our home plate umpire was forced to leave the stadium due to what appeared to be a lower leg issue, maybe a cramp of some kind. And we want to thank Darren Good for assisting the umpire and taking his wheelchair all the way around and out the stadium. And how about our fans just clapping for the umpire? And, you know, there's something about umpires, I can't explain it. Umpires seem to get more love from the fans than basketball officials do or football referees do. And I really don't know why. It just kind of seems to work that way. Here we go. There's the pitch high for a ball. Philip Benz will lead things off. The bottom of the order comes up to bat here in the home half of the 5th inning. And Benz gives this ball a ride, but right to the left fielder who makes the catch for out number 1. That'll be an F7 if you're scoring with us. Making the grab and left was Riley Green. And now here comes Carter Johnson. He has speed to burn. Not sure if he has that Cool Papa Bell speed. Of course, Cool Papa Bell, he's famous back in the old Negro Leagues for being able to turn out the light in his hotel room and be under the covers in bed before the light went out. Now that's fast. That's Cool Papa Bell fast right there. If you haven't, by the way, been to Kansas City and been to the Negro Leagues Museum, I highly encourage you take the time to do so. If you love this game we call baseball. Here comes the pitch. It's outside and the count is 1-1. Been to the Negro League Museum twice and really enjoyed it. I think they've put a lot more money into that facility in recent years since I've gone. There's a swing and a miss for a strike. 1-2 count now to Carter Johnson. Will Greer still out there, hoping to pull out a victory and doing a great job. There's a bouncer past home plate, and that's the kind of pitch that really gets that bullpen going in a hurry, because that's not the kind of pitch we've seen from Will through the opening 4 innings today. There's a high pitch, and I think Will might start, he might be showing a sense of, he's losing his command, let's put it that way. It's about as solid as a old card table. Here's ball 4. So Johnson draws a walk, and Johnson with his blazing speed is on the bases with just 1 out. And now Wilson Kiefer will come up to hit. We'll see what Wilson can do. Wilson Kiefer waits for the pitch, and that pitch is inside. Nope, it's over for a strike. Will Greer's pitched a fine game today. And so have the Hardhats. And there's a pickoff, and getting in safely is Carter Johnson. They picked him off, but the throw down to second was mishandled. And I think that could be an error and not a stolen base. Well, they're going to give him the stolen base. We'll take it. Carter Johnson steals a bag and is at second, representing the go-ahead run. Hang a star on that play right there. Wilson Kiefer with a chance to break this tie. He swings and misses and falls behind 1 and 2. 1 on, 1 out. Carter Johnson with lightning speed leading off. Johnson is 1 for 1 today with a walk, and he steals third. Carter Johnson got such a jump on the left-handed pitcher that there was no way he was going to be retired. So back-to-back steals by Carter, and there's a wild pitch, and Johnson will break this tie, and it's 2-1 for the Hardhats. Carter Johnson steals second on a pickoff, steals third before the starting pitcher Will Greer knew what hit him, and then scores on a wild pitch as Greer is really struggling with his control. And now Kiefer draws a walk, and you wonder if Will Greer's afternoon might be coming to an end sooner than later. The Hardhats now with a 2-1 lead. They scored back in the first inning, and they scored on a wild pitch, and they have now scored again in the ball game on a wild pitch. So both Hardhat runs have gone from third to home plate with a wild pitch from Will Greer. Standing at second now is shortstop Wilson Kiefer, and Aiden Roberts is at the plate. When Roberts was pressed into duty back in May of last season, he really came through in a big way coming up from the Expos, and he just took the starting job. It was a clear ascension from the Expos for Aiden Roberts. There's a stolen base attempt and a stolen base by Wilson Kiefer. So suddenly that speed at the bottom of the order becoming a big factor for Coach Kelvin Torvey and the Hardhats, who have a 2-1 lead, and they're threatening to build that lead. Ball is struck hard by Roberts, and it is caught by the center fielder. There was nearly a collision out there between Riley Green and the center fielder Tyler Hutton, but Hutton was able to make the catch to record the second out of this game. And now here comes Wyatt Reeder. Reeder to bat as a left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher with a man in scoring position. Reeder fires outside for a ball. The umpire asking the sound effect walk-up music to be extinguished. And now there'll be a conference between the catcher and the pitcher. We again apologize for the lagging video. We just, without the Wi-Fi available at our broadcast booth, without any Ethernet capabilities either, we're told. We understand. I shouldn't say we were told that. We just don't have a port for the Ethernet. Here we go. Ball is hit hard, and that could be a base hit that scores a run. And it will be a base hit RBI single for Wyatt Reeder. And listen to these Hardhat fans here at home as Wilson Kiefer crosses home plate from second base. And it's 3-1. The Hardhats have broken this game open with a 1-out rally in the home half of the fifth inning. Hardhats have out-hit Sheridan now 5-3. Tate Crosswade is at the plate. He swings and misses for strike one. Hardhats breaking through and showing just how dangerous they are from top to bottom this year. And there's a foul ball there from Crossway. One of the things that I always like to look at in the first series or two of a season By the way, I want to thank Marge. She just let us know that Greer moved out to right field, and Tyler Hutton is now the pitcher replacing Will Greer. Thank you very much, Marge. Appreciate that. I didn't catch that. Their styles, when they stand on the rubber and look to pitch, are nearly identical. But I'm glad that was pointed out. Tyler Hutton is in relief here in the 5th inning as he hits Tyler Crossway on the shoulder. Crossway on a hit by pitch will take his first base trot. And Wyatt Reeder will move on up to second. So let's get a few things squared away. Tyler Hutton, he moved from center field to the pitcher's mound. And then Barney moved from right field over to center field. And Will Greer is now in right field. And Tyler Hutton is on the mound. Wind starting to pick up a little bit. Wind blowing in from right field. It's going to be very hard to hit the ball over the fence to right. 3-1 our score. Hardhats have scored a pair of runs here in the 5th inning, the bottom of the 5th. Hardhats with a 2-run lead, 6 outs away from winning this rubber match contest in this 3-game series. Here comes a pitch from Hutton. Ball is hit hard and deep. It might leave the park, and it does! It's a home run by Alex Dietrich. Alex Dietrich with the first home run of the season makes it 6-1 Hardhats. Dietrich absolutely hit a bomb over the Midco sign in deep left field, about an estimated 365 feet from home plate, and I think that ball was hit about 380 feet. What a tape measure shot. A 3-run bomb by Alex Dietrich blows this game wide open as Tyler Hutton gives up a long ball to Alex Dietrich, and that home run scores Wyatt Reeder and Tate Crossway. And what was a moment ago a 1-1 tie is now a 6-1 lead for Post 22. What an explosive Hardhats team, and this is what the Hardhats want to do this year. Get on base, show the speed, manufacture runs, and then connect with the long ball for the technical knockout. Mercy. Here comes the pitch. Ball is fouled up and it's in play. Being called for and caught by Tyler Hutton to retire the side. Hollick flies out to the pitcher, but the damage is done. The Hardhats score 5 runs on a total of 2 hits. There were no errors, and the big hit of the inning was a 3-run dinger to left center field by Alex Dietrich, the first home run of the season in 2024, first home run of what should be many home runs in 2024 for Post 22. And there were no men left on base. Through 5 innings of play, it's the Hardhats 6, and it is Sheridan 1. We go to the top of the 6th inning here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Well, thanks for being with us, everybody. Thanks for all of you who clicked and say you're enjoying the broadcast. Again, our apologies on the video lag. We will be working on our Wi-Fi issues as we take the road trip to Sheridan and then again on to Billings and Gillette. But we're happy to have you along with us, and we've just gone with our makeshift arrangements. If you're looking for some good bonus baseball over at McKeague Field at 4 o'clock, the 2-0 St. Thomas More Cavaliers will be hosting the Winter Cologne Royals in high school baseball. That game is set to start at 4 o'clock today. It is 3:38 local time. Hardhats leading Sheridan 6-1, trying to win 2 out of 3 to start the year for Coach Torvey and the boys. Will Greer to lead things off here in the top of the 6th inning. Here comes the pitch from Broden Sales, who has worked masterfully out of the pen so far today. Sales quickly falls behind Greer, 3-0. Come in.
Just where
No, it's 2 over. And there's a swing and a miss, ball 4. And Greer able to draw a base on balls, a leadoff walk. And if you're going to mount a comeback from a 5-run deficit, you have to get on base, and that's just what Will Greer did. Now here comes the number 6 hitter, Riley Green. Green 0 for 2 in the ball game with a strikeout. And that first pitch is over for a strike. If the bullpen is solid this year for the Hardhats, you know what the upside potential is with the starting pitching. It's going to be very exciting for post 22. There's a pitch outside for a ball. Hardhats in recent years have kind of had this, if you look at the history, if they don't win state one year, they'll usually come back and win state the next. 2 years ago, the Hardhats won state. Last year, they came up just a little short. Maybe this year, the Hardhats will be back on top as state champions in South Dakota. We'd all love to see that. And good luck to this Sheridan team in the state of Wyoming. We wish Sheridan the very best. Ball is over home plate, struck deep to the left, but caught cleanly for out number 1. One man is still at first. That's Will Greer. Riley Green flies out to left, and now here comes Blaine Phillips. Blaine 1 for 2 today with a single, and he was the first strikeout victim of Hardhats relief pitcher Broden Sales, who faces Phillips for a second time this afternoon. And there's a bouncer, and that gets away from Benz. Here's a stolen base attempt on the wild pitch, and he's in there barely with a stolen base. Will Greer gets from station to station, maybe a little bit later than some would, but he got there. That's what matters. Will Greer now in scoring position for the Sheridan Troopers. Want to pass this along that Wednesday night we've got baseball coming up here at Fitzgerald Stadium. The post 22 Bullets take on the post 320 team here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Check that out, doubleheader. Going to be happening between the Bullets and the 320 Stars. Here we go. Blaine Phillips watches a pitch go inside. I was having a conversation. I can't remember who I was talking to, but it was an opponent of the Hardhats, and they just talked about how impressed they were about how every one of the Hardhats just knows how to play the game, and they've been drilled and trained so well that at the Expos or Bullets level that many times It's just funny. Many times the opposing pitcher's like, didn't I just see you up there? Didn't I just face you? That's quite a compliment from an opposing baseball man that I talked to about a week ago. There's a low pitch, and that'll be a ball. And Sales now has 2 on with 1 out,
Line
and
number 27.
he's going to get a visit. And it looks like Coach Torvey might be signaling to the bullpen. Broden Sales, he's done a whale of a job out of the pen. He's faced 9 hitters, hasn't given any runs yet, but there are 2 on with just 1 out in a 5-run ball game with Post 22 leading 6-1. I like it. We got a little muscle emoji for Alex Dietrich. Appreciate Joe passing that one along there. And yeah, Alex, he definitely gave that pitch a ride back in the home half of the 5th inning to break this game open. It was a 3-1 game, and then Alex just annihilated a pitch over the plate. And it hit the J&J truck and auto body sign above the Midco sign. A very prodigious blast to open the home run roll call for 2024. Mike Fell with you, filling in for Oliver Fell, the voice of Hardhats TV. He'll be with you from college when he gets done with his junior year at Arizona State in a couple weeks. Here's a pitch. Ball is fouled towards the visiting dugout by Ethan Evans. Evans 0 for 2 today. I'm going to pass this along. How about this? The Post 22 Expos had a nice win over Sheridan today. Yes, they did. They won 11-5, and they are a fun team to watch. I agree with the person that let us know that. There is a blooper that's going to drop for a hit and load the bases. Ethan Evans able to get a single, and that is likely going to be the end of the day for Broden Sales, as Tanner Hamrick will bat with the bases loaded. And let's see if Coach Torvey goes to the pen. No, he isn't. So bases loaded, 1 out. Big moment in this game. You have to give the Troopers a lot of credit. They are showing their Wyoming Cowboy State grit here in the top of the 6th inning. There's a pitch high, inside for a ball. So I have worked in the radio business, and Casper and Cody, and I know Wyoming folks. They are a tough-minded group. They are a great group of Americans. Here comes a pitch. That's high. The count goes to 2-0. I love Wyoming. It's a scenic state. It's a beautiful state. And the people are awesome. And they can be at times as rugged as the land, but they're as sure as the land too. We've got a conference now at the mound as Philip Bentz will come out and talk to relief pitcher Broden Sales and get on the same page. Glad to have you with us. Shadows now starting to cover the field a little bit with the light tower. It's nearly about 3:45 o'clock Mountain Time. Bases loaded, 1 out. Sales facing Tanner Hamrick, and he fires a pitch for a strike to move the count to 2-1. Well, there's no empty base here, but on the other hand, at least there's a 5-run cushion if you're Sales. Broden fires his next pitch. It's fouled back to the screen, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 2-2 count, 1 out in a 6-1 ball game, currently in favor of Post 22 on a powder blue Sunday here at the Fitz. Here's a off-speed pitch, a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. And that was a much-needed K. That's the 3rd strikeout in as many innings for the Hardhats. Now Broden Sales will tie his left shoe. And he will get ready to face Tyler Hutton, a very dangerous hitter who's 1 for 2 today with a single. You know, Tyler would love to get some runs back for his Troopers right here. Here comes the pitch. Hutton hits the ball up the middle, and it is handled. Throw to second, not in time, and a run scores. And it's a 4-run lead now for the Hardhats. An infield single by Tyler Hutton, his second hit of the game, drives in Will Greer from third base, and now it's a 6-2 game. And Coach Torvey will take the ball and make a pitching change here with the tying run at the plate in the person of Cale Hamrick. And listen to this round of applause for Broden Sales, who goes 2 2/3 innings, giving up only 1 run so far, although he would be credited with more runs if the relief pitcher who has come out of the bullpen gives up any more runs to the visitors from north central Wyoming at the base of the Bighorns. Our new pitcher, yet to be announced. Hayden Lighty is out there. Hayden Lighty will come in with the bases loaded. Hayden Lighty, a mainstay and opening day pitcher last year for the Hardhats, you may recall. Lighty coming out of the pen, maybe in a bit of a high leverage closer's role. It's always interesting to see what the roles out of the bullpen turn out to be as we start a season. And one thing that I noticed that caught me off guard, because last year was my first year around American Legion baseball as a fan and as a sportscaster and as a dad of a sportscaster. And what I can share is when you get into these tournaments like the Veterans Classic, the Firecracker, the Pueblo Azteca, the Creighton College World Series tournament, the Gopher Classic, and you're playing 1 or 2 games a day every day, you really stretch out the pitching, and your players that might be a bullpen guy will be your starters in some of these tournament games. And this is a high leverage moment for Hayden Lighty, who I believe is making his Hardhats season debut here in a 6-2 ball game. The bases are filled with Troopers, and coming up to bat is Cale Hamrick, who has had lady luck on his side all day. He's reached on a pair of errors and a hit by pitch. Here comes the pitch to Hamrick. Good job there by catcher Philip Bentz blocking the plate. Can Hayden Lighty leave the bases loaded like River Walters was able to do earlier today? Here comes the pitch from Lighty, and it is just off the corner. Oh, he wanted that one, as did about 500 fans here in attendance. Can Hayden Lighty get his man? Lighty's pitch is low, and that makes it a 3-0 count to Cale Hamrick. Nowhere to put a runner. This is suddenly a very dangerous moment in this game for the Hardhats. Here comes the 3-0 pitch to Cale Hamrick. Pitch is low, ball 4, and Lighty comes out of the pen and throws a string of balls to make it 6-3 as Blaine Phillips is able to score on that bases loaded walk. And now the tying run is at first base for Sheridan, and the go-ahead run is at home plate in the person of Avon Barney. Here's how it stands. Evans is at third, Hutton's at second base, Hamrick's at first, and Barney is at the plate. And there's a wild pitch, and that's going to score another run for Sheridan. And it's a 2-run ball game. Sheridan showing tremendous determination and grit has bounced back from a 6-1 deficit to make it 6-4 here in the top of the 6th. Talk about answering a 5-run bottom of the 5th for post 22. The Hardhats now only lead by 2 runs in a 6-4 ball game as Ethan Evans crosses the plate. And now Tyler Hutton's at third base. Now the ball is hit to second. Handled short. Handled cleanly. Throw to first in time for a very big out for Hayden Lighty. But the Troopers managed to scratch themselves back into this ball game as they score 3 runs, all earned, on a total of 2 hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 Troopers left on base. Through 5.5 innings of play, it's post 22 6. The Sheridan Troopers 4, and the Hardhats are coming to bat in the home half of the 6th inning, hoping to be able to extend their lead back to a wider margin than where it currently stands. Well, it's a great day for baseball wherever you may be. How about this score from Coors Field? This will definitely interest Oliver Fell, the voice of the Hardhats, as we are now in the 10th inning. No score between Seattle and Colorado. I don't remember ever seeing a game at Coors Field where neither team didn't score a run through 9 innings of play. Wow. Final score from St. Louis, the Milwaukee Brewers sweep the St. Louis Cardinals, and they blank the Cards 2-0 today. Cardinals are both the radio voice of the Hardhats, Jerome Wickersham's favorite team, and Darren Good's favorite team. Orioles beat Steve Ammerman's favorite team 5-0 today. Dodgers destroying the Mets 10-0. Wow. In the top of the 7th, my San Diego Padres leading the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2. Blue Jays won the series. Padres trying to avoid a sweep. Bottom of the 7th in San Francisco, Diamondbacks leading the Giants 3-2 in NL West action. And that gets you up to date on some active current scores across the major leagues. Let's now get into the 6th inning, a 6-4 game. Ball hit hard to second. Sheridan's throw from short to first is in time. And Aaron Roach is retired as the leadoff hitter for post 22. Now, Phillip Bentz will come to the plate. Hardhats lead 6-4. Tyler Hutton on the mound for a 2nd inning of work. Or check that, I think we may have a new pitcher. I think we do.
Pitching for the Troopers is number 2, Cale Hamrick.
Well, I think Cale Hamrick is our new pitcher. Yes, Cale Hamrick, our new pitcher for the Troopers. Will Greer started the game for Sheridan and did a fine job. Hardhats were able to break through against the Sheridan bullpen in the 5th inning, and now we have a glitch with the scoreboard, and the scoreboard just went blank. But the game plays on. Now the scoreboard came back. That's good. There's a pitch. This is probably where that phrase of something being on the blink came from. Is at one time electricity went, it came back. Somebody said It's on the blink. There's a ball 4 issued to Philip Bentz. Bentz gets a base on balls. And now Carter Johnson, the speedy youngster, steps out of the on-deck circle and gets ready to go. Facing Cale Hamrick. Johnson today, 1 for 1. He's reached base twice. He's stolen a pair of bases, scored a run. He's been outstanding. There's a pitch over for a strike. Carter Johnson, CJ, getting it done today, wearing number 16 for post 22. Here's a throw back to first, and Bentz gets back. You don't see throws to first very often when the opposing catcher is on at first, but we just saw it there. But here he goes. Bentz takes off. Will it be enough of a lead? He gets in there. Throw from the catcher to second base was not in time. And Philip Bentz gets a stolen base for the Hardhats. And now the Hardhats with a man in scoring position with 1 out. As Carter Johnson waits for his next pitch, there's a swing and a miss. Count is 2-2, we think. I say we think because the scoreboard having all kinds of problems. Here comes the pitch to Carter Johnson. 2-2 count. There's a bouncer to home plate. Throw down to third is not in time, and another stolen base for Philip Bentz. Johnson able to work the count full. Check that. It's a 2-2 count. Again, the scoreboard not working. Hardhats leading 6-4. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's a pitch. That's over for a strike. Now, and that's a strikeout. So Carter Johnson recorded as an out for the first time today. He is the first strikeout victim of Cale Hamrick, and now Philip Bentz is at third base, and Wilson Kiefer's up to bat. Kiefer had a sacrifice in the second inning, and a walk and a stolen base and a run scored back in the 4th, or in the 5th rather. Kiefer swings at an off-speed outside offering. Count now 1-2. So Hamrick has the Hardhats down to their last strike, but Hardhats with a big insurance run 90 feet away in the person of Johnson. Johnson able with a foul ball to extend this game. Again, our prayers and our thoughts are still with the home plate umpire who had to leave the game back in the 4th inning with what appeared to be a severe leg cramp, also known in the common vernacular colloquial as a Charlie horse. There's a high pitch inside. Count now goes to 2-2 to Wilson Kiefer. Hardhats leading 6-4. The scoreboard is totally off except for the name of the batter. Ball is hit to short. Well handled. Throw to first is just in time. What a play. Johnson turned on the Jets, but that was a slick play made by Cale Hamrick. Wow, from short. That's a 6-3 putout, and that will retire the side and keep this a 2-run game in the bottom of the 6th inning. So for the Hardhats, who lead 6-4, there were no runs, there were no hits, there were no errors, and there was 1 man left at third base. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Our score, post 22, 6. Sheridan, 4. And Hayden Leidy is on the mound trying to get the save for post 22. Coming up to bat for Sheridan is Tyler Risen, Will Greer, and Riley Green in the visiting half of the 7th inning. Well, no matter how this game finishes out. It's been a tremendous series between two quality Legion programs. Sheridan won game one last night in the first of a doubleheader, game of a doubleheader, and then it was a blowout win with Lee Negebauer getting the victory last night on a very cold night here in Rapid City to even the series and earn a split. And now here we are, the rubber match of the series. This game was tied 1-1 after 4 innings of play, but then the Hardhats were able to break through for 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning, punctuated by a tape measure shot from Alex Dietrich over the Midco sign in left center field to extend the lead to 6-1. And how big does that home run look right about now after the Troopers were able to dig out 3 runs in the top of the 6th inning to make it a 6-4 ball game. Mike Fell with you, filling in for the voice of Hardhats TV, my son Oliver Fell. We're happy to have you along. I want to again thank Cody Oliver for filling in for me last night. Hayden Lighty on the mound in the top of the 7th, looking to get a save. Ball hit hard to center, and it is caught by Carter Johnson for the first out. And listen to this crowd. Great play by Carter Johnson. Tyler Risen showing his power. Hit it just to the left of Johnson, who made a sure-handed catch in center. Now here comes Will Greer. The Troopers have to score 2 runs, or this game will be history, and the series will belong to the Hardhats. First pitch by Lighty is outside for a ball. Hayden Lighty coming on for the save. Broden Sales did a marvelous job in the pen. He would be the pitcher of record. Stands to get the win for Post 22 if they can hang on. There's a high pitch over. Catches the edge of the strike zone to tie it to even the count at 1-1. Post 22 leading 6-4. We're at the top of the 7th inning. Will Greer, right-handed batter, facing right-handed pitcher Hayden Lighty. Lighty kicks and fires and almost hits Greer. Greer just gets out of the way, and the count moves to 2-1. Sure has been a great day at the ballpark. It's been unseasonably warm. Hasn't been too windy. Been a great day to enjoy America's pastime. Pitch from Lighty is a bouncer outside. Count now moves to 3-1. The Troopers, they need a base runner. They're down 2. Here in the top of the 7th inning. Final inning of this game, unless we go to extras. Hayden Lighty would love to get his man right here. Here's a pitch from Hayden, and that is just outside for ball 4. And now Greer represents the first base runner in the 7th inning for Sheridan, and he brings up Riley Green as a potential tying run here in the 7th inning. Sheridan fighting their way back in this one. They trailed 6-1 after 5. Hardhats 2 outs away with Hayden Lighty on the mound from winning this game and getting to 2-1 and winning the series 2 games out of 3. Hayden Lighty checks with Phillip Bentz, fires a pitch over for a strike. Riley Green in a 1-1 count against Hayden Lighty. Greer with a little bit of a lead off second. Unlikely he's going to take off. Here comes a pitch. Ball hit hard to third. Handled well. Throw to second for 1. Throw to first. Not in time. But the lead runner is retired. That's a 5-4 putout. Retiring Will Greer on a fielder's choice. Riley Green reaches on the fielder's choice, and now Blaine Phillips comes to bat representing the tying run, and the Hardhats are 1 out away from winning this game and winning this series to start the year. Phillips, a left-handed hitter, waits for the pitch from Lighty. Pitch is over for strike one, and Hayden Lighty, trying to slam the door and get the save, moves ahead of Blaine Phillips, who is 1 for 2 today with a walk and a run scored. Lighty checks his sign, delivers out of the regular position and throws low for a ball. 1-1 count. The Hardhats are 2 strikes away from victory. 1 man on, and there's a throwback to first, and that was nearly a pickoff as Alex Dietrich couldn't quite close the glove on that quick toss from Lighty. Wouldn't that be a way to end a game? Picking off a base runner. 1-1 count. Hardhats on top 6-4. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Man on first. There's a pitch, and that's a strike. And now Blaine Phillips, with nowhere to hide, so to speak, down in the count 1-2. Hardhats are a strike away from winning the game and taking this opening series to start the year. Ball is fouled back to the screen on a chopper by Riley Green, or rather Blaine Phillips. Hayden Lighty going for the save. Broden Sales would be the winning pitcher for the Hardhats. Let's see what happens. Lighty's pitch is just off the plate. The crowd wanted that one. Count now even at 2-2. Let's give credit to the umpiring crew. They've had to work through some adversity today. Hayden Lighty's pitch is golfed foul down the line. Blaine Phillips hanging in there. Here comes the 7th pitch of this at-bat. With this game hanging in the balance, Blaine Phillips represents the tying run at the plate. But he's down, he's even in the count 2-2, and Hayden Lighty has a chance to close this game out with 1 strike. Lighty's pitch is outside, and the count goes full. Here comes the 8th pitch in this at-bat in this duel between Lighty and Phillips. On deck is Ethan Evans for Sheridan. Here comes the payoff pitch, and the ball is hit fair into left field. And that puts 2 on. The tying runs are now on base as Blaine Phillips wins a long duel with Hayden Lighty. Riley Green is at second base. Blaine Phillips is at first. And Ethan Evans comes up to bat, and Coach Kelvin Torvey comes out of the dugout to have a talk. And they continue to play the Empire Strikes Back music as Hayden Lighty will leave to a round of applause with Ethan Evans on coming into the batter's circle, and Lighty unable to get the save, but
And pitch for 422 for 13, Ryan Negebauer.
Now Ryan Negebauer will go for the save for the post 22 Hardhats. Well, Ryan's big brother fired a masterpiece and got the win for the Hardhats last night. We'll see if Ryan Negebauer can get the save here for the Hardhats. Ryan Negebauer is going to warm up, and man, this game has been exciting to say the least. Sheridan will not go away. You have to really tip your hat to the Troopers. They were down 6-1. They have rallied. It's 6-4. They were down to their last strike. Blaine Phillips kept the game alive. And there are now 2 on with 2 out in a 2-run ball game, and a bases clearing double would tie this game and keep things alive for Sheridan. If you're a Troopers fan, win or lose, you have to like the fact your team has put themselves in this position to tie or win the series. The go-ahead run is at the plate in batter Ethan Evans, and he will face right-hander Ryan Negebauer, who pitched well for the Expos earlier today, or played well for the Expos earlier today. So here we go. The Hardhats are 1 out away from winning this game and winning the series. First pitch for Brian Negebauer is outside for ball 1. Ethan Evans, he's 1 for 3 today with a pair of ground outs to the pitcher and a single. Next pitch is over for a strike. Ryan Negebauer trying to nail this game down and finish what Hayden Lighty got started, retiring the first 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Second pitch is inside and almost hit the batter. It was enough to move his jersey a little bit with some inside wind. 2-1 is the count. Ryan Negebauer's pitch is, wow, what an amazing scoop there by Phillip Benz. The count is 3-1. Ryan Negebauer not necessarily sharp so far. Ethan Evans waits for the 3-1 pitch. Negebauer gets him to swing and miss, and we are now full at 3-2. Again, Sheridan down to their final strike. Ryan Negebauer going for the save here, trying to win it for the Hardhats. Pitch from Ryan is chopped to second base, throw to first in time, and the Hardhats win 6-4. Ethan Evans is retired, second to first, and the Hardhats win this series 2-1 and win this game 6-4. How about those Hardhats? They get it done on a beautiful day for baseball on a powder blue uniform Sunday. Kelvin Torvey and the Hardhats with a lot to smile about after losing a tough one in Game 1 last night of last night's opening night doubleheader. They win big yesterday in the nightcap, and then they roll. Well, I shouldn't say roll, but they broke loose in the 5th inning with a 5-run lead and hang on for a 6-4 win. Congratulations to Post 22. The Hardhats are now 2-1. Good luck to the Sheridan Troopers this year. They represented themselves very well in this 3-game series. And the Hardhats are off to a solid start. Now 2-1, and they will visit Cheyenne to take on the National American Legion runner-ups from last year against a very tough Post 6 Sixers squad. We will have all 3 games of the series for you coming your way next weekend. I will be in Cheyenne with the call. And congratulations again to the Hardhats. They win 6-4 in the rubber match game. a game that was marked by a timeout as the home plate umpire needed to be helped medically and taken from the stadium. We hope he's doing okay. He was, again, smiling. He was in a wheelchair. It seemed like he had a Charlie horse or some sort of tightness in his left leg that kept him from being able to stand and continue on. But we thank the alternate umpire who came out as well. And again, we tip our hat to our very own Darren Good, who escorted the umpire with the wheelchair out of the ballpark, and we hope he's doing okay. Well, the Hardhats win 6-4. Earlier today, the Expos beat Sheridan 11-5. Hardhats win 2 out of 3 to start the year. A happy Sunday for Hardhats fans, and we will be with you coming your way Saturday afternoon from Cheyenne, Wyoming, the capital city of the Cowboy State, as we will bring you the Hardhats against the Sixers in an exciting weekend road trip in southeast Wyoming. For General Manager Wayne Sullivan, for the voice of Hardhats TV, Oliver Fell, this is Mike Fell saying thank you for watching. Our winning pitcher today was Broden Sales. Our losing pitcher was Tyler Hutton. And the save goes to Ryan Negebauer. And the victory goes to the Hardhats. The final score, post 22, 6. Sheridan 4. Good afternoon from Rapid City, South Dakota.